So Devin in the chat earlier said, as a Penn State fan, making the playoff isn't the same accomplishment this year that it was part of the original CFP format. If Penn State makes a run/Final Four appearance, then that's one thing. Otherwise, I'm not impressed by just making the playoff. That is the perfect intro for Penn State now or never, because they were the one that was always just missing the 14 playoff. They were the one, if there'd been a 12 team, they would have been in it. I believe 6 times since 2016, they would have been in it. I think Devin's right. I think just making it's not good enough. But here's the thing. If they are what they were last year, they will be right on the edge of just making it or just not making it. They have to be better this year.
They have to be better offensively for sure. And that's a big reason why they went and got Coltonecki to now be their new OC with Drew Allar. Julian Fleming may be the most impactful player on that offense, because they had, they lost Kendra Lambert-Smith, and that offense was, I mean, like a wet firework. It was not explosive at all last season, Andy. They got the run game. I really think Drew Allar also has a little bit more under the hood ability-wise than maybe he's being given credit for right now. My big thing with Penn State, too, is like this record, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday over text, they should be 11-1. I mean, there's no Michigan, there's no Oregon. You get Ohio State at home. From a roster perspective, they should be able to roll the ball out if they play to their level of potential and be able to win 11 games, which sounds a little bit crazy as we sit here in June, but I don't think it's a stretch when we look at who they have on that schedule.
Yeah, and there are challenging games. Again, we don't really know what at USC and at Wisconsin are going to be. We don't know what Washington's going to be. But you're absolutely right. Penn State should be at least a playoff contender, if not a Big Ten title contender this year. And yes, does Andy Kotelnicki make the offense more fun? I will never forget being in that stadium when they were playing Michigan last year and watching the play calling get booed in the first quarter. That was insane. I've never seen that before in my life. And this was a good team playing in a game that it was in. Like, it wasn't like Michigan took a 50-point lead right off the bat or anything. Like, this game was very much in doubt at this point, and they're booing the play calling. So they want that taken care of. They want that fixed. Drew Allar needs to be unlocked. You know, I go back to, like, Drew Allar against Iowa in the rain, in the wind, really good defense on the other side of the field, and he's making NFL throws. Like, he can do that, but they are going to have to be a little more creative offensively. I love the hire of Tom Allen as the DC after Manny Diaz left to become the head coach at Duke. Tom Allen is a great defensive coordinator. No, things did not work out the way he wanted to as the head coach at Indiana. The man knows how to call a defense. And when you have Abdul Carter, and they're like, so all the stuff we talk about at LSU about it, why don't they just let Harold Perkins do the thing he does well? Like, Penn State's going to do that with Abdul Carter. They're going to line him up and say, go eat the quarterback.
Yeah, he is a heat-seeking missile on that side of the football. He's so fun to watch on Saturdays. The other thing, too, I think with Penn State, like, they were thinking playoff regardless of if they expanded it or not this year, Andy. Like, this young nucleus of Katron Allen, Nick Singleton, Abdul Carter, you just mentioned, who's a freak show, Drew Allar, like, this class was always circling this year where they have everybody together for one more ride. Last year, you were hoping you'd have a little bit ROI, but like this was always the year to not be the bridesmaid and to be the bride. And it just so happens that now they're taking a few more brides in the college football playoffs, so you're happy about it. But I think Devin's on the money. Like, you can't just show up. Like, that was the plan regardless of how many teams they let in this year. This year, you got to make some noise.
Yeah, if you're Penn State, you were always on the cusp. You would have been making this playoff. The point is to be where Ohio State or Michigan have been. That's the point, that's where you're supposed to get. Now, nobody's in any trouble if that doesn't happen this year. James Franklin is very solidly contractually tied to them. Like, nobody's going anywhere, but it's going to get ugly, or maybe apathetic, which is also ugly too. Like, apathy's worse than anger in college football if they don't start taking steps forward. So I think that's a big one right there. Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, Subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples on 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.